Before we dive into today's episode, I just want to introduce myself in case someone recommended this podcast, Communication is an Art, or you found it on your own. I'm Pam Lippett. I am a communications coach, a public speaker, and a podcaster. I've taken the many years of my career and distilled it and transformed it into sharing with you. What I want to tell you what to expect on my podcast, because I like to know what to expect when I'm listening to someone. Most of these podcasts will be bite-sized, 10-minute tips so you can get in the car, listen, and take something away. Once a month, I'll be interviewing another professional in the communications world or in a different world, but that works with how they communicate with others. If you have questions, feel free to comment on the post episode. You can find me mostly on LinkedIn at Pamela Lippett, and I hope you enjoy. So now on to the podcast. Hey, it's Pam. It's another day that should be spring-like and isn't spring-like. But today I'm really excited because I'm going to bring into this podcast someone I met online. We've never met in real life, though I feel like we have. And I have to be, in all transparency, I am a member of her group called Innovation Women. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Bobbie Carlton. And Bobbie is the founder of Carlton PR and Marketing. I'm going to have to ask about this. Innovation Nights and Innovation Women. Or she says that her day job, her night job, and her dream job. Well, I'm hoping that Innovation Women is the dream job in that, because that's what I'm part of. Yep. So I am waiting to have so much fun with Bobbie. I'm so excited that we're going to be here together. And there aren't the other 50 or 60 or 70 people that are on your calls on Friday morning. It just gets to be the two of us. So welcome, Bobbie.
Thanks so much for inviting me.
Yes, and as I told you, this year I'm only having about 12 guests, and I am so excited that you are the first one that will be joining me on the podcast. So give a little background about how you got to the point of where we got to meet.
Got it. So this is the origin story.
Or the condensed origin.
The condensed origin story, yes. So my background is I headed up global PR at big enterprise software companies. I worked for a kids book company, and the pandemic, basically during the pandemic, I was an entrepreneur. I started my Carlton PR marketing agency. I ran an event called Innovation Nights. And Innovation Women, yes, it's the dream job. But when the pandemic hit, we started something called Speaker Friend Fridays. And Speaker Friend Fridays is basically a Zoom call where anybody interested in public speaking and learning more about it could join us. And so that's where you came in.
I think our mutual friend, colleague, Brenda Meller, said, "Oh, I think I'm joining Innovation Women." I said, "Oh, wait, I will follow you anywhere, Brenda." What am I supposed to do now?
And both of you show up on a regular basis.
Yeah, I try my best. Friday morning, I pretend I don't work on Fridays. Very pretend, very much in the pretend. So that 8:45 is always an issue for me, but I try and get on by 9:00. So, all right. So you successfully moved during the pandemic to Innovation Women. So tell us about the phenomenal purpose of Innovation Women.
So Innovation Women's mission is we are getting more women on stage at conferences and events, because 2/3 of all conference speakers are men, and that leaves women out of a lot of career and business opportunities. So our mission, more women on stage.
And do you Well, first of all, yay, because I'm a woman and I want to be on stage. So why wouldn't I like this? But do you see any anecdotal feedback of successes? Like, what do you hear? And what do you think is gonna, move that needle?
Yeah. And this is something that's really hard. I started Innovation Women. I did the crowdfunding for it in 2014. We launched the platform in 2015. I mean, we have results for Innovation Women. We have thousands of speaking engagements where we've made matches. But at the same time, the people that did the measurement from 2014 to 2019 is a company called Bizzabo. And they are really the data that everyone uses when it comes to percentage of women on stages. And they stopped doing that study. Bizzabo, if you're listening, please do that study again. But one of the things that we did at Innovation Women is we started sampling all of the genders of women and men at big convention centers. So, for example, we took the Boston Convention Center and we tracked the number of women on stage at all of the events that happened at the convention center over the course of 2 years. And wouldn't you know, 2/3 of all conference speakers are men once again. So our sampling says that not much has changed.
Okay, that would be Pam taking a deep breath if you're listening on the podcast. What do you think we can do? Because so many women are in this group, like people are joining all the time, and we're seeing new faces. And I have made a lot of really good connections on Speaker Friends Friday. If you're in Innovation Women and you are not coming to Speaker Friends Friday, you are the one who's losing out, because there's such great tips and information. And, I cannot tell you how many, aside conversations that have led to not necessarily more speaking gigs, but my doing a better job with my business. That for sure has developed from this group. So what do you think we could do to change that needle?
Yeah. And I mean, there are some systemic reasons why you don't see as many women on stages. A lot of conference organizers, they will look around and they'll see people who are what we call on the circuit, the usual suspects. And these are the people that they feel they have to invite every single time. And so they're perpetuating the same voices over and over again. And so I think number one, if you're an event organizer, look for new voices, look for people that you haven't had on your stage before. Don't invite the same old, same old. And on the speaker side, I think one of the things that we have to do as women who are interested in speaking is we need to do a better job of helping each other out. So if you are speaking at a conference or an event, like look around you. Who else needs to be on that stage? Like extend the hand back, pull somebody else up with you. When you're talking to conference organizers, urge them to have some kind of a track for people who are younger, people who haven't been on stage before, for people that maybe could do a great job on a panel. And that's a good way for them to get started.
That's great. The flip side of that is they don't pay people to be on the panel, and they don't pay your expenses to be on the panel. And it's a fight to get into that room, even to do that. But it needs to start somewhere. So local things. I mean, I've done a lot of local things. I'm really good at free. apparently that is what people see me for, but not anymore. we're gonna be moving that I'm moving my own needle in 2026. It and I will say this, and I want your feedback on. I don't think when you're starting out, the speaker fee has to be huge. Even if it's an honorarium, I think it's more showing that you're in the game, that this is something that just comes with the territory. And conferences spend so much money on things that get thrown out in that circular bin that they could be paying their panelists.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, we've done surveys, we've done studies in the past. Half of all event managers put zero budget for the speakers. Like, they don't pay travel, they don't pay hotel, they don't pay expenses, they don't pay honorariums. Half of all event organizers. 42% pay some people and not others. Like you just mentioned, it's harder to get paid if you're on a panel. Doesn't mean it never happens. It just means that it happens less often. The people that you see paid more often are the keynotes. Like, these are the people that are putting butts in seats. Oh, I want to go to that conference because I will see Pam and I will see Bobbie, right? So when they're putting their budget together, they've got budget for people that will help them sell tickets. Also,
I have to ask you
workshops.
something.
Sure.
I have to ask you something. Have you ever gone to an industry conference or a convention based on who the keynote was? Have you ever
100%.
literally? Really?
Yep.
I don't mean a program kind of thing. I mean like an industry conference.
Yeah.
Now, the Association of Mill Workers. Can you tell them in Michigan? The UAW conference.
I'm in Massachusetts. We've got mills out here too.
Exactly. My father was a proud member of the clothing workers. Mm-hmm. So I get that. But I think those are people who have to go to the conferences. And so there's a lot of differential, because you want to be at the conference, not necessarily at the speaker. I have to say, I've gone to a program for sure because of the speaker. But when I've worked for companies, I've never said, oh, that's the keynote, therefore I'm going to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are speakers who are celebrities and entertainers. For example, the Mass Conference for Women every year, they are part of the Conference for Women network. There's one in Texas, there's one in Pennsylvania, there's one in Massachusetts, and there's one in California. And they often strike deals with big name celebrities. I've seen Viola Davis there. It was amazing. Michelle Obama. I have seen Gloria Vanderbilt. I have seen Meryl Streep, right? Like, these are celebrities. And you look at that and you're like, I would love to see Meryl Streep.
A different level.
That's a different level. But I have also gone to industry conferences where I've looked at it and I've said, okay, I need to hear what that person is talking about. And sometimes it's, that's somebody that could be sharing important information. I saw an article written by them. I've seen a book written by them. I've read their book. Like, where is it on my desk? Hold on. Like, the Bookability Formula, written by Maria Franzoni, sorry.
Yes.
If she came to the US, I would hop on a plane and go and see wherever it is she speaks.
Wow.
I love that book. I've told her that, like, that's the book I wish I had written. And if I wrote a book, that's the book I would write. So I don't need to write a book anymore because she wrote it.
Exactly. That's interesting. I have to reevaluate what I attend. And I'm trying to be more cautious and more like making different kind of decisions. I feel like, I often say to people, I wish like when there was a program or a networking event or whatever, there would be like a hidden QR code that would say, oh, lots of people are going to go to this one, go. And another one that would say, yeah, really nobody's coming, don't bother.
Well, when we talk to Innovation Women members about applying to speak and calls for speakers, like we talk to them about the value of the abstract that they are putting together. Like that is the advertisement for their session. And it's not only getting them through the gatekeepers of the organizers, like, okay, that's a description of a session we want. It's also part of the program and it helps people make the decision on what session they will go to. And if you are not doing a good job with putting together the takeaways, if you're not doing a good job with, hey, this is appropriate to you because this is who you are, then you're not doing a good job for the people that have to make that super hard decision. Like you could be getting invited to speak at this event and nobody shows up because the other people did a better job at putting together their abstracts.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you use the word you twice in that sentence, in that paragraph you were just saying. And I think that word you comes in, or the you comes into play no matter what you're doing in life. If you're fundraising, the more times you put you in a letter, the better off the results will be, or in a donation. Or if you are in sales, the more time you talk about what you will benefit from this purchase. And when you're in that abstract, the more that you can talk about how you will benefit from coming to my session.
Yeah. This is a session that is specifically designed for me, the person who is interested in public speaking and how I can use it to drive my business and grow my business, or how I can use it to earn enough money to pay my rent or my mortgage. Like these are all the things that we need to think about when we're putting together an abstract and applying to speak or pitching ourselves to speak at an event. Are we speaking to the right audience? The person that is reading this, will they see themselves in what it is we're writing?
You're so correct. You're so correct. Always when I'm doing team training or leadership training, whoever hires me, and people hire me, I always meet with them and find out the group's pain points, their pain points with the group. Because as speakers, we can come in and address those pain points, you and I, and it's like, oh, the audience thinks this is something common. They don't know that you've done your homework to make sure you are addressing the right things. And that, I think, really, it's what you do, it's what we all do, and it's makes a difference.
Yeah. I think that one of the things a lot of people forget about is how they are going to appear to somebody who doesn't know them, that wasn't in the room when somebody was putting together the agenda for a whole event. Like people are making decisions based on slivers of information. And it could be they only see the title. What are the expectations of somebody reading that program? And what is it that they need in their lives that you can supply?
When we were in college and we would get that syllabus, now it's probably all online, but we would get that thick syllabus, and you were supposed to go through it and flip the pages and figure out what class you wanted to take. And it was usually because of either the professor, so you're right, the speaker in that case, the professor or whatever, or the title of the class. I mean, seriously, at midnight when you're figuring this out, how many of us read that small print paragraph below it?
I had a situation where I was speaking at a conference, and I'm not going to lie, I usually get really good marks. Like, I'm vastly entertaining, if I say so
Yes, you
myself.
are.
And this particular event, I did not get 5 stars. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I was like, what happened here? Because I thought I killed it, right? So the good news is I actually got detailed feedback, and 2 people in the audience marked me down for not delivering what they expected. They were like, "Hey, we thought you were going to teach us all the tricks of public speaking." And I was like,
In
"Why
an
did
hour.
what's that? Yeah, in 1 hour.
1 hour.
Actually in 45 minutes. But in this particular case, I'm like, "No, I'm here to tell you how to get on stage and the tricks about getting you on stage and how to find opportunities." But they only looked at the title, which was Public Speaking for Women, and they never looked at the description, which talked about this talk will discuss the importance of public speaking, how to find opportunities, how to position yourself to be selected as a speaker. And it literally said in it, this is not a conversation about the act of speaking. This is a presentation on how to get on stage. But they gave me low marks because I didn't deliver what they expected.
Apparently, one of the sessions should have been how to read the syllabus.
Yes. Or, I mean, good feedback for the organizers. Next time, we want a session on the act of public speaking.
I'm sure you can deliver.
I'm sure I could too, but I'm sure there are also other people who could.
It is. It's expectation versus results can really just do a number on you and twist you. But I'm glad you got the feedback, not just I got low marks. What did I do wrong?
Exactly.
Was I not funny enough? Was I not? I always say when I speak, if you don't laugh at some point during this, forget the rest. I will not consider this a success because I want you to have a good time. And so I am sure every other mark was high. And I am sure that the people who read the syllabus gave you or the abstract gave you great marks.
Or the people who came in without expectations. And that's actually something that event organizers are very aware of. I talk to a lot of event organizers, obviously. And one of the pieces of feedback that they tell me they dread is in the feedback forms from the people who are in the audience. They often see, this wasn't what I expected. And that's the kiss of death. If you are delivering something that people are not expecting, they immediately think, oh, I gave up seeing this other thing for this session and I didn't get what I wanted.
Lessons learned, right? And
Yeah.
if you get that year after year, then the problem is not the speaker and the problem is not the audience, the problem is the organizer and how they're laying out the material. Because they're probably doing so much work to try and get the right people, and we'll assume that we'll give them the grace that they're working really hard to make a success.
Oh, it's the hardest job. It really is. Thankless job as well.
I have planned conventions for 17-year-olds. There is nothing worse.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, well, 14 to 18-year-olds, and trust me, the 16 to 18-year-olds were all taller than me and all looked older than me, so it was a problem. But you know what? it's many, many years ago, and I am still really good friends with a lot of those kids. So they show up in my feeds and my comments all the time, and I still see a lot of them in person. So it's just the expectation and the relationship building that we do as speakers and we do as communicators that makes such a difference. So you're not going to believe this, but we have been talking for almost 25 minutes, which is crazy because it feels like it's been about 5. So, so tell me a little more about like what your message is to people especially to women who want to do better, who want to get on stage, who have that thing in them to make the leap, besides joining Innovation Women. So
Yes, join Innovation Women. I think a lot of times the biggest advice I have for people is do not give me a presentation that is one Google search deep. I want to know things that I haven't heard before. I want you to surprise me. I want you to give me a framework. I want to have things organized. Like, I am very demanding when it comes to what I see and hear from speakers. I want them to come in the door practiced. I'm not a perfectionist. I want them to be authentic. I want to hear what they're like. I want to get to know them. But I do want our speakers to do the work to create that foundation that turns them into great speakers. It's like, yes, we have all sat through, I'm going to just say it, long, dull, boring presentations. And I want people to kick it up a level. I want people to do the work. And I want every speaker that we represent through Innovation Women to knock it out of the park every single time.
So I will say that is a great kind of summary of the work you are doing now, and the thought and the input that you are putting in to the program. So in other words, there's a lot of programs we join that are just like recorded and it's whenever you join and whatever you do, and it's all there. But it's not interactive. And I feel like you give so much of yourself to this organization and to the women and some men who are in it. And I think, like me, your joy at this point in your career is for others to succeed. And it really comes through.
I mean, we do, and I just want to address the point. Yes, there are men in Innovation Women. We represent women and other underrepresented groups, and we also welcome male allies. So anybody can join Innovation Women. I will say as well that, yes, you're right. I do give a lot to the Innovation Women community because I can. I've been doing this for 40 years and I've learned a lot. And I've also seen things I don't like in the industry, and I'm very vocal about those when I see them. So everybody gets my opinion whether they want it or not.
And I think that's why we get along, because they get my opinion too. And most times they don't want it, but that's okay. We'll talk offline about other things I have done in the last 2 weeks that you will be shocked at. But I was in the newspaper, in the Detroit News last Sunday. So it's really interesting. And this is not a commercial for Innovation Women. This is really about finding your voice, using your voice, and the tools to use your voice. And I think that you help people doing that inside of Innovation Women and just in general. So the question is, can people contact you if they want more information?
Absolutely. And everyone's welcome to Speaker Friend Fridays. If you look up Speaker Friend Fridays on the Innovation Women website, you can actually go and sign up and put it on your calendar and show up for a Zoom call on Friday mornings.
All right, well, that's good. And if you're watching this, your different links are scrolling across the bottom. And if you're listening to this, it will be in the show notes so that people can contact you. And with that, I am so happy we got to do this. I am really so excited to put our voices together out in the potosphere and watch how people respond. So thank you very much in closing. And we folks from here from Communication is an Art, because I think art is something you practice, and I think communication is something you practice as well. So we will be back again next week to give you more information. Take care, everyone. Podcast. I hope you found something interesting in it. I wanted to share with you a new offering from my company, Pamela Lippett Communications. I'm actually offering a communications audit. So who is this for? It's for a company, a nonprofit, where there's new leadership, new board members, or new senior hires who may not be up to speed and are seeing different things when they're looking at different pieces of paper, because really it's the new people who are really diving in and looking at things. It could be because you have new programs or new clients or new services, and you want to give them a consistent message about your company. It may be that people are asking the same questions all the time. That means you should be answering it in your materials so they don't have to ask. And it's also if you're seeing internal frustrations among your team. Maybe they don't have the right materials they need. So if you're interested in a communications audit for your company, I am giving a bonus for anyone who mentions hearing this on the podcast. Not only will I do a communication audit of your materials, but I'll also come in person or via Zoom and meet with your team to go over all the materials as we start and as we finish, to make sure everyone's on the same page. So with that, shoot me a text or an email if you're interested, and I am happy to reach out and discuss how your communications can be smoother, more concise, and lead to more business. Thank you.